And I appreciated the update that you gave the Majority Leader with regard to the SPEED program, of course, which is the Expedited and Transparent Permitting Program that Senator Rothman and I authored. And one of the aspects of that legislation that you did not touch on was the permitting portal. So there was also a component of that legislation that required the establishment of a new web portal so that businesses, individuals, local governmental entities, anyone could track the status of their permit from start to finish. Can you provide an update on the status of that portal?
Sure, and my apologies for not mentioning it. As you know, I could probably talk permitting all morning. But the permit tracker went live last month. And what it allows is anybody to go in and see the status of any permit that is within the department's review. So
not just the permits that were covered by the SPEED Act with regard to air, land, water, 102, 105s, MPD, yes, so any permit in the department. Okay, so we can now do that live. And my understanding is we have 84 qualified reviewers. Mm-hmm. And we're expecting full implementation of the SPEED Act by late spring, early summer. Is that correct?
Yeah, so some of the programs have more qualified reviewers than others, like our Chapter 102 and our Chapter 105. We still are trying to get more qualified professionals in dam safety and air quality. So we would likely do a phased rollout, looking at one program first, working out the bugs, because there are some implementation challenges that we're still working through, like how to take a permit from our portal and getting it to a qualified reviewer, which might be easier in some instances than others. So there will probably be a phased rollout, but we do expect full implementation, barring any major issues by this summer.
Very good. We also know that the governor signed the PA Fast Track Program Executive Order in November, which basically took what we conceived of in the SPEED Act that he signed into law with regard to your department and applied that same program, basically applied SPEED to all other state agencies. What are your thoughts on codifying the executive order to apply to all state agencies? Since from your update here today, it seems like everything's on track. We should be able to ask all state agencies to have that same standard.
So I can't speak for other agencies. I'm not super familiar with PennDOT's system. I would guess, though, that it's probably a little bit more sophisticated than our system from 1994 that we're pulling the data from, but it really would depend on how those other agencies keep and hold their data and if they're able to pull from that system into the tracker. We were able to do that. I can't speak for those other agencies, but I'm assume there's probably a way.
Well, certainly, we all want people to be in compliance, but expediting things and making them more timely, I believe, encourages compliance. So one more question. I'm hearing from some of the building community that there have been some additional regulations and barriers put in place from DEP since the creation of SPEED. Is this true? Because it seems to me that that would be counterintuitive to what the intent of the SPEED program actually is.
I'm going to ask Ramit. I believe you're referring to our PAGO2 permit, which is a general permit. So the difference between an individual permit and a general permit is that a general permit is a standardized permit that is a faster permitting process because there's no public comment during the review period. On an individual permit, you have to, apply for the permit, go through public comment, and then you're issued the permit based on the individual site. The general permit, though, basically is a standard permit condition, and as part of the exchange for a faster permitting process that doesn't have that public comment period, there might be slightly higher requirements within that permit. I'm going to let Ramez talk really quickly about the PAGO2.
Good morning. Thank you for that question. You're probably referring to some of the additional requirements that were incorporated in the new version of the PAGO2. We did talk to the Home Builders Association about their concerns. The thing is, the infiltration testing that they had an issue with is something that we are currently evaluating. What I would say about that is, for those projects that qualify for coverage under that specific general permit, which allows discharges to non-special protection waters, there are options that are available to the developer aside from infiltration. So infiltration is not the only practice that they can implement in order to achieve the standards that are required to obtain the permit coverage. So we are working with the program right now on clarifying those requirements in the permit application, and we will be working this year on improving that application process in order to make the process a little bit more
I would certainly
clear.
appreciate that, because the intent of the speed program was just that. We had a need for speed in permitting in this Commonwealth, because when you can permit, build, and open a facility in another state faster than you can get a permit in this Commonwealth, this was something that clearly the governor agreed with us on. It needed to be fixed. So we need to make sure that we're not, in another way, hampering the speed that we are looking to achieve with this program. So I thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator. Up next.